Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And I'm back with the finale of What If Naruto Was Neglected and Unleashed? An ancient evil, guys. Remember to share this one to all of your friends on your social media platform. And I just want to thank you guys for everything that you've done for this series. The likes, the comments, all the new subscribers. It's been a short but amazing ride for me, guys. So yeah, I just want to thank you all. And also don't forget that more episodes are coming very soon. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy all of them. And if you're new, yes, I indeed have 3 more channels. Every link will be down in the description for you guys to check them out and enjoy. And go ahead and check out some of my audiobooks on Anime King, guys. New animes will be posted over there as well. So without further ado or wasting any more time, let us begin now, guys. So the last part we left off, after discovering the spirits of the ancient Uzumakis, they had to create a weapon. Thus, it wasn't just their power but piece of their spirit, their essence, everything they were, everything they would become. It was the only way to kill Naruto, the only way to truly destroy him completely. Each member fully accepting that, each member going into this knowing that it is something they have to do. So they gave it their all. They gave it everything to ensure that they would put a stop to Naruto once and for all. It was the only way to end him after all. Thus, they combined their power and made a weapon to be wielded by one of their hands. The world started to destroy itself, and that was very clear. Tidal waves, storms, plagues, fire. The heavens themselves seemed to be quaking. All of this was originating from one spot. Ships started to be destroyed. Mountains collapsing. The leaders wanted to know what was going on, so they called a formal meeting. Minato wanted to truly discuss with them all to tell them what was truly going on. Obito Uchiha made his way to the location. The land of snow was no more because there was no snow, not even a drop of it, as they could see very clearly that this monster threatened to destroy the entire world. So they had to work together. Obito decided to pull a fast one. Unfortunately for him though, Naruto was something else. He was someone that reached beyond the Kamui, that reached into his dimension. He scared Obito. It was the first time Obito felt so afraid in his entire life. And he's been crushed by a massive boulder. But this terrified him. Yes, this person was not human, passing through dimensions like it was absolutely nothing. As we get to see that Naruto was a force of nature, Obito knew the Akatsuki was walking into their damnation, but he did not care. So with that, the Akatsuki plotted and made their move, Pain leading the charge. We get to see the members of Naruto family fight. Suigetsu, Gura, and Haku, all of them. They took on the remaining members of the Akatsuki. The lightning user from Kumo, believing she stood a chance as Haku, showed her that she was speed incarnate. Haku also froze Kisame as well. They were forces of nature, wiping out the Akatsuki, decimating them, draining the immortals, killing them. Naruto took on the 6 paths of pain. He was the worst of them all. The way he fought, the way he destroyed. His powers were borderline apocalyptic. He went after Konan, and he went after Nagato, showing that he was not someone to be trifled with. He was greater than them, he was stronger than them. Obito had to watch from a distance as Naruto destroyed everything right in front of his eyes. The last time he tried to face someone like that, he reached into his dimension, so yes, Obito was scared, terrified really of this boy. Well, he wasn't a boy, he was a monster. We get to see the nations having a discussion. They did not believe Minato at first, but he made it clear with them all to understand, for them to see with their eyes that the world was going to end if something was not done. The problem was reaching to Naruto. Yes, that was their main problem. How would they get to him? How would they take him out? They had to get to him first. That was the biggest part of their opposition. They formed the alliance not too long after. As they started to discuss, Mito had her doubts, believing that Naruto still could be saved. But the way things were going, as they would attack by dawn, it didn't seem like he could be safe anymore. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the playcheck of yourself. So yeah, let's begin the finale, shall we? Let's begin now guys. They came as an army. Thousands of shinobi from every nation, moving in special teams, special formations. Konoha precise strike teams. The Sand long-range specialists. Kumo lightning fast assault unit. The Hidden Stone defensive formation. Kiri silent killer. All of them. They converge on the location that was once the land of snow. The land was corrupted though stretched and black. You could see the ground look like obsidian. Trees that were mighty as buildings stood tall, and yet they had no leaf on them. They looked dead but alive in a very dark way. Advance. The order was given as they surrounded the land. They weren't being bothered by the cold, so that was a plus. But this was still a war that they were walking into. Most did not know if they were going to survive it. They move as a force of nature. The last stand for humanity moving against the darkness. Explosive tags detonated in special sequence. Earth users rise in coverage. Water techniques clearing path and creating trenches. As they waited for the enemies to approach, the fortress loomed over them all. The massive structure, the massive building, the tower, it was decorated as such like it was an angel above them. The way it spammed, the way it just hovered. It was unusual and crazy. Walls that exist in places that it shouldn't. Windows connecting in path that doesn't make any sense. It's almost like reality just does not want this here and it was forcing its way in. Mapping teams. Move forward. Shikaku gave the advance. As they were speaking to each other using the mind manipulation of the Yamanaka clan. They started to map the entire area. They've already created the trenches, they've already used explosions, they've already drawn out everything that they needed. Uchihas, everyone moving in perfect synchrony. The armies were encroaching on Naruto's location. That is when they started to flood. They flood from the ground like they were a wave of darkness and destruction. Naruto's army started to march, their eyes holding firm, holding ancient, terrifying power behind them. Words were immediately shouted as the chaos reigned. Specialized Jonins moving in. As they were right. Jiraiya was right on the money. It was just as they thought due to the, well, special body that Naruto possessed. A fire technique was ignored. A specialized wing technique ripped the arm cleanly off and was ignored. They're not dying! One shouted, "How do we kill them?" They thought that at least they could wear them down. They wouldn't have to need the sealing team everywhere. But it seems like they were more than that. They were far more than that. Their regenerative ability was so intense that removing their arms or legs only lasted for a couple of seconds. They had to move in with the sealing team. This was where they shine. "Keep on pushing," the commander said, giving the forces the words to move in, to go further, to crush their opposition. These people had no full mindset to take orders, while the commander for the human side was fighting for his loved ones, fighting for those who he believed should rule, who should survive. These things move like animals, on pure instincts, and yet they were fully aware they were just that dangerous. They were just that committed. That they did not care about being sealed, they did not care about being cut down. All they desire was to see the enemies of their master fall, and they would do so in any possible way, even if it means biting someone's throat out with their teeth. Finally, though, a Hyuga scout got close enough to scan the fortress with her gun, but the moment she did so, she proceeded to collapse. They thought it was a distance that was preventing them, but the moment she got close enough, she collapsed as blood flew from her nose. Her brain was bleeding. Her eyes started to leak blood as well. What happened? The team leader said. She was groaning in agony on the ground. Too much. Can't see. Whatever it was, it override her senses. She didn't last long after that. Meanwhile, with a protective group, Hokage-sama, Shikaku said, as Minato was there along with his family, the only ones that can truly put an end to this. We were able to fully map the outside, but the inside is another story entirely. The eyes of the Hyugas cannot pierce through the veil that seemed to surround the fortress. Given our formation, given the numbers that they have despite their powerful regenerative abilities, we can stall or hold them long enough for your team to proceed forward to put an end to this. As that was going on within the fortress, Naruto was watching. Sitting within a circle was all of them. Karen, Haku, Guren, Suigetsu, Yukimaru, all of his close family members. Naruto stood in the center of that circle. Purple energy seemed to radiate off of them in waves, connecting and threading itself to Naruto even deeper. This wasn't just a power that he granted them, this was something fundamentally greater. Naruto stepped out of the circle and made his way, as all of them remained where they were. Not a single twitch, not a single movement, they simply remained where they were. The look on Naruto's face was distant, as the sound of battle got louder and louder and louder as he made his way towards the top balcony and gazed outwards. He was immediately spotted, but he did not shy away, he did not move. A kunai was launched towards his face. He did not even move as it stabbed right into his cheek. It fell out moments later. His eyes though was focused on something else. Found you, he said. It's time, Juvia said as she stood right beside him. With that, Naruto proceeded to vanish away, miles away, where the strike team was. Naruto appeared right within their fortress of solitude, if you want to call it that. Their safe haven, where they discussed their plans, where they planned and prepared. He appeared right there, right in between them. The realization was startling. However, the ear itself felt wrong as it distorted. Reality seemed to bend and twist. The next thing she knew, Mito found herself on the ground outside. Menma looked around. What the hell? Minato immediately understood. He teleported us. Minato said, gazing upward, seeing his family. To where, Kushina said. Far enough so that no one will intervene. They all turned as they saw Naruto looking down towards them, standing on a slope, watching them all with calculating eyes. After all that planning, all that preparation, instead of them coming to him, he came to them. Hello, father, brother, mother, sister. It was odd to hear him say that. The last time Minato had a conversation with him, he swore that he would never call them that again, so this was strange. Minato looked defeated, hurt, sad. Naruto, he said, his voice stable despite the emotion coursing through him. I'm sorry it had to come to this. Are you? Or are you sorry that you're facing the consequences of what you've created? Mito stepped forward. Why didn't you kill me when you had the chance? When you attacked Gaara? When you took the fragment of the tail beast from him? Why didn't you kill me or come after the tail beast that I have? Why did you just leave? He looked towards her for a long moment. Maybe I wanted you to suffer, he said. You're lying. There's something you're not telling us. Maybe, deep down somewhere, you can't kill us. Because despite what you've done, despite what you've said, you are still part of this family. Maybe I was. Back then when I was starving for affection. But you're wrong, sister. Then why do you keep on calling me that? If you don't see us as family, why address us as such? I do what I feel like whenever I feel like. That's a part of being me. That's a part of stripping away everything that concerns you in this world. You can do what you want. And I'm here to end this, right here and now. I won't allow it. Kushina said, stepping forward. I won't allow you to harm any of them. Your grievances is with me. I am your mother. I should have been the one to protect you, but I was the one that neglected you. So take your anger out on me, she said. That is not how this works. Minato stepped forward. It's over, Naruto, he said. You won't win. Naruto smiled, amused. You think you can kill me? How naive, he said. However, they were planning for this. That is why the moment he finished those words, they moved. Kushina chains shot forward. They tried to bind him where he stood. Mito chains also moved forward as well. Menma was already on the move, a Rasengan in hand. He appeared behind Naruto. Naruto smiled as he dodged each and every one of them, grabbing Menma's wrist and uppercutting him. He then kicked him away as Minato grabbed his son, moving him back towards the area with his teleportation. You've gotten better with your speed. But it's still not enough, said Naruto. Minato reached behind him and pulled out the blade, the specialized weapon, as Naruto looked towards it. Interesting. Seems you've gone and created something special. Naruto held his hand out and blasts the oppressive energy towards Minato, who simply sliced right through it. That's not gonna work, Minato said under his breath, though he spoke. It actually worked. The blade negated Naruto's abilities, negated that darkness that he sapped power from. You think just because you have that you can beat me, said Naruto. Yes, said Minato. The chains interlock with one another and form a massive barrier, trapping them all on the inside. You think you can trap me, said Naruto. You fools. I'll kill each and every one of you and rip out of this. We will hold you long enough to end this, Minato said. Naruto smiled as he spread his arms. Well then, go ahead. Minato apologized once more likely to himself than Naruto for what he had to do as he attacked. The blade swept through the heavens, and Naruto countered with pure physical force. No specialized void energy, no spatial manipulation, no reality tampering. Just physical force, physical speed. Minato teleportation was that instant, but Naruto's eyes was tracking him just to show how truly insane his physical feats were. He moved like lightning and beyond, his eyes tracking every single Hiraishin movement. Naruto responded accordingly, dodging and blocking all of Minato's strikes, moving away from the blade that slashed out towards him constantly. Minato was physically faster than almost anyone alive, but Naruto was tracking every single move that he made before he even moved them. It's like he could feel the spatial distortion in the ear before it even happened, which was truly insane. Menma stood at the edge of the barrier as he watched and waited for an opening. His sister and mother maintained the chains. As they maintained the chains to ensure that Naruto wouldn't escape, the blade tampering and weakening his power. And then Menma saw it. He slammed both hands on the ground, shifting the ground as Naruto landed on it, giving Minato time to slip past Naruto and slice at his feet. It shifted Naruto's balance as he staggered. Minato decided to strike once again and slash at Naruto's shoulder. He then slashed once again. These were not like normal wounds. The wounds did not close and blood started to actually leak. As Naruto grimaced in pain and anguish, he was feeling it. However, Minato was afraid, holding back, staggering. Immediately though, Menma was taken over by the spirits. "Now! End this! Do it now!" they shouted. Naruto jumped away, but he couldn't stand up properly as he landed on that leg. Minato had sliced the tendons as Naruto fell. Minato kneed him in the face as he fell to the ground. Minato stood over him, holding the blade above his head. Naruto looked weakened, much weaker than he's ever looked. "I'm sorry," Minato said. "No," said Mito. Her desperation in believing that her brother could be saved cost her. As in Minato's eyes, what he was seeing was Naruto as a baby, Kushina first holding him first holding him, Naruto as a toddler, his first steps, him as a child, and where everything went so wrong. However, he steeled himself, he had to do it. One of the chains lashed out and grabbed onto Minato's hand, but it wasn't fast enough. The blade slipped within Naruto's chest, piercing his heart. The fundamental change of everything was instant. You could feel it in the air. Reality itself seemed to fracture within that moment. They all blinked as they found themselves. Where are we?" Mito said. "The spirits," Menma said. I can't feel them." "I think we're in his mind," Kushina said. The blade created some sort of connection. When Mito tried to grab it, Mito looked forward towards her mother. He was so defenseless, and she looked around feeling sad. The part of her that believed that Naruto wasn't as bad as they all believed, despite everything, was so strong. "What now?" said Menma. That is when Minato saw it. The space behind them was destroying itself, literally imploding. "Move," he said as they started to move. As they moved through this space, they started to see members along the walls. They saw Naruto sitting alone as a twins' birthday party, despite the three of them having the same birthday happen. They saw him crying, not just once, not just twice, but several times. They saw every moment of neglect play out in their eyes. Every time they chose the twins, every time they neglected him, every time he cried out, every time he begged for them to see him. Kushina, she tried her best to hold it, but the tears started to fall. Deep down, Minato knew strongly, we created this. As they saw Naruto finding the book, they saw him praying to whatever monster was inside, to grant him power. The reason why he wanted power in the beginning was to make his family see him, to make them love him. That shattered every single one of them as they heard it. As they saw him young, innocent, sweet, naive to know that he was going to be manipulated by this darkness that was festering inside of him. "You shouldn't be here." They finally arrived and heard the voice as they saw him, thick and covered in that distortion of energy. No clothes, just that energy, blanketing his form. His eyes burned. They looked so lifeless. This was the embodiment of what Naruto was now. "If you think I'm gonna die alone, you're dead wrong. You're all coming with me," he said. So he was dying, they thought. Look, Mito said, pointing to something in the far distance. Behind this monstrosity was another Naruto. The young child who was begging for their acceptance, begging for their love. He was buried under thick purple chains, what seemed like thousands of them. Buried and being slowly consumed. The real Naruto, the child that they abandoned. He was still alive, still there, buried under this corruption. That's it. That's how we save him. We destroy this monster and free him. Kushina looked around, having understand the situation as such. She started to desperately wonder if they could. How would life look after this? But the swordman said. Minato looked down as he still had the blade. He looked toward his family. Together this time, he said. The dark Naruto though wouldn't have it as he slammed his hand in the ground. Powerful whips of corruptions erupted. The family moved from one side to another, throwing the blade. They limped, they jumped, they dodged. They threw it from one place to another as Minato found that he could not teleport. Kushina threw it to Menma, threw it back to Minato who threw the blade. Mito caught it. Whatever this monstrosity of corruption was, the only thing that he could do was raise these corruption tentacles and whips. Mito wasted no time as she drove the blade into it. It screamed and exploded, a scream that seemed to shake the entire space around them. It was chilling and terrifying to the very soul. Mito did not stop though. She pushed herself and ran to the small boy. It's okay, she said, slashing at the chains. It's okay. You're free now. You're safe. I'm so sorry. We're so sorry. He opened his eyes and looked up. At first she thought that he was smiling, but he gripped her hand and pulled her hand forward, allowing the blade to pierce his chest. With that connection made, Mito realized that one of his hands were in her stomach. Everything went white. Reality seemed to snap back. Minato saw as everyone woke up except for his daughter. He realized a seal on her stomach was destabilizing, the same thing that happened for the others. Immediately he got to work, placing 2 layers of seal over it to maintain it and bind it, forcing Mito to wake back up as the chakra shot to her system. What happened? On the ground, Naruto was laughing, even as a wound in his chest started to leak. Not blood anymore, he was laughing. You did it. You actually did it. You killed me. What he said next though shocked them. Thank you. With that his body dissolved. It just dissolved. Meanwhile, within the fortress, Naruto Inner Circle felt it the moment the blade struck. Their deep connection that stretched beyond just physical, mental, emotional love. Their hands immediately seemed to change as they pushed their hands into their own chests without hesitation. They tore out their hearts, just like that, and placed them in a circle. Suigetsu, Gura, and Yukimaru, all of them. Their hearts started to glow as one, before they all fell backwards, their forms slowly disintegrating, the energy flowing into their hearts that seemed to be glowing ominously. On the battlefield, more ninjas were falling as these unstoppable monsters seemed to be... What the hell is this? Jiraiya said as he crushed one of their skull, only to see every single one of them collapse. It's over. Someone shouted, "It's finally over!" But Jiraiya had a bad feeling. They all collapsed like their string was just cut. Then why? Why did he have this bad feeling? Jiraiya could not name it. Back to the other side. I thought I saved him. I don't under... Menma collapsed as they all turned towards him, dropping to his knees as he started to puke something up. It was not bile or blood. It was a glob of purple energy. Menma Kushina said, moving towards him as the energy spoke. Thank you. They all froze in shock. They, did it just... What's going on? What the hell are you? Said Menma. You've been calling me the spirits. The ancient Uzumakis that came to save you. Everyone's face twisted in shock and horror. Don't you remember? Well, allow me to remind you. Flashback. Due to their connection a moment ago, the memory showed itself, forcing its way into each and every one of their minds. There was no ancient spirits. All of that was simple manipulation, a lie. Something that Naruto had planted into Menma's mind. The day when Naruto found Menma. Yes, Naruto found Menma. Menma wasn't just struck or anything like that. What truly happened was when Menma had stepped away from Tenten, Naruto, who had finished taking the One Tails, had arrived. Before Menma could speak or properly understand, Naruto's physical hand was no longer physical. It seemed translucent as he pushed it into Menma's chest. What followed was Menma believing that he was chosen. What followed was Menma going to a random spot in the forest that he himself carved with his hands, saying that it was a Uzumaki sword, but there was nothing of the sorts. All this time it was him. All him. Back to the present time. The weapon. The ritual. I needed that. That was real. But I was the one that gave you everything. Those seals were fake. Planted by me. And by knowledge that Jovia possessed. The Uzumaki seals. They are powerful. Hold together by thousands of sacrificed souls. I told you this once before, Father. If you learn how to hack the soul, you can truly become something unstoppable. The weapon was never meant to truly kill me. Just to destroy me. I don't I needed to die. What I took from the tail beasts was the part that kept them coming back. If one of them were to die right now, they would never come back. I needed it for the ritual. It's a fundamental law of nature. They are outside of the fragment. Yes, pieces, and they are outside of the fragment. They can never truly be killed. Their chakra can always simply return. They are stamped onto reality, which made them an abomination. And that is what I needed. Because as strong as I am, as much as I can distort and change reality, I'm still written into the genetic code of it all. And that is why I needed that part of each and every one of them, so I can break it. The pieces start to click together for them all. But as you learn, I couldn't die normally. I needed something. As I said, nature is always a balance. The blood of my family that started all of this. What I had you kill a moment ago was a part of me that was still connected to you. Everything I've told you was a lie. When we spoke in the cell, I told you that I killed that part of myself, but that was a lie. I simply buried it. The blood connection, I buried it all. And what you did was kill that blood connection. You destroyed that part. And the only way to destroy it was to have a weapon that was imbued by the same family that helped me start this. Yes, complicated and rather annoying, but I couldn't just come after you and force you to kill me. You had to want to save me. Despite everything. Yes, nature is truly a bitch. And you, sister, I saw it the moment I left you alive. I heard it the moment you heard that the Uzumakis were the one to start this. Beautiful information that Jovia gave me. I saw it that moment that you thought I was being manipulated. That is why you were the only one that could do it. You were the only one that could stab that part of myself and destroy it. And once you did, it severed it. It also broke the connection. Because all of that power that I've been drawing, it's gonna die as well. The problem is, I will return. Just like the TLB says. But the power that I'm returning with will no longer be fundamentally tied to anything. Not nature, not law. It will step above it. It will step beyond it. And you help me transition. You help me take the final step. And for that, I thank you all. The glob disintegrated as he said that. And the moment he disintegrated, the family was left with horrified, shocked looks. They all looked up when they heard it. It sounded like metal grinding against something even tougher. The heavens literally tear open. They did not crack, they tear open like two hands had ripped it. Across the world, those who had survived the witness and sightings of Naruto Obito, you had Orochimaru, people like that. Orochimaru stepped outside, gazing into the heavens as he watched. He had known for some time now that the fundamental laws of reality were being tampered with. From the moment the sky started to bleed red, from the moment the ocean started to wipe away boats and cities, from the moment lightning started to shock mountains and destroying them. So this is it. This is the fundamental change that he was talking about. This is what he meant. Orochimaru thought to himself. Back with the army, every single body that was on the field started to disintegrate. Even those that were sealed away started to vanish. In the throne room, the hearts also started to vanish as well completely. All of it fueled into the sky. All those souls, all that power, finally, it broke. Unable to stop what was coming because there was no stopping this power. All of it fundamentally coming into one as something else, something new. The fundamental laws that held the world together, everything that held the world and make it what it is started to break. The heavens tore like fabric. The oceans, they started to dry. The mountains turned into volcanoes. The earth started to open like pictures. Entire civilization wipe out. Thousands of civilians, ninjas, children, everyone, they sunk into oblivion. Tsunamis that were higher than villages' population in terms of the mass of it all swept through coastal areas. Darkness plumed in certain areas. Plagues and death spread. They killed within a heartbeat. The single infection that reaped the very soul of the mind, tearing through the fabric of who you were and what you would ever become. Everything was turning upside down. The land froze. It crystallized. It slashed. It tore. Everything was just wrong. The fundamental laws of reality were no longer holding it up, because what was coming into existence was wrong in every sense of the word. This wasn't like before when Juvia was summoned here. This was unnatural. The fundamental creation that she had brought, that she had made, that she had given life to in a way, connected to all of her and all she would ever be. An entity that has surpassed the concept of what it is. The very definition doesn't make sense, and yet it existed. Up above, we get to see him. Naruto showed no physical changes other than his eyes. His eyes had reflections in them that show thousands of other eyes that seem to reflect into that too. Other than that, though, his expression was not the same. He lowered himself. His very existence seemed to make the ground and air repel against him, knowing that he was fundamentally wrong in a space where he shouldn't be. The eyes that look outwards belonged to Karin Sugetsu, Guren, Yukimaru, his soldiers, Juvia, Naruto. "Who are you?" Minato said. We are. We are all of us. What do you mean, all of us? Our close family. Our warrior family. Juvia. Naruto Uzumaki. The neglected child. We are us. Our connection is deeper than love. Physical, mental, emotional. A family that can never be separated. A family that is bond, not in blood, not in power, but in existence. We are no longer I, only we. You merge with all of them and the entity, Kushina said. Yes, before this, we were an entity that had no compassion, no love. But the child that you neglected showed us through our connection. We never wanted to separate from that. It was always our desire to come into the world and take the world. But slowly our desires started to change. And now we've become something else. We've become one. We shall never be alone ever again. We are together. Forever. Minato could taste the power radiating from this thing that once was his son. It was so powerful, it was just wrong. We are all. We are together, we are love. We are truly accepting of who we are. He started to walk. Please stop. It's over, Mito said. You won. You don't have to go any further. The entity moved towards her. The problem was there was no transition, no blur of speed, no technique. One moment he simply existed. He cuffed her face gentle and soft. Completely opposite from what had happened earlier. Minato and Kushina were ready to strike. But he did not attack, instead he kissed her on the forehead. What was that? She said. He didn't reply, though he simply vanished away. I don't know, said Menma. But we need to follow him. On the battlefield, the allied shinobi forces were happy. The war was over. They had succeeded. Yet, some of them had the feeling in their gut. A feeling of dread. It was like something was wrong. Then they saw him. A figure moving through the crowd. Immediately they separated. Fire style for about jutsu. Wind release. Great pressurized destruction. The amplification created a raging flame that swallowed the entity. However, he simply walked through it. What the hell? He's not even hurt. Everyone back, said Jiraiya. Get away from it. Jiraiya could feel it, the wrongness in this thing. Gaara, shoot his sand outwards though. It wrapped around Naruto, trying to restrain him, but he did not struggle, he did not force, he just walked right through it. The family arrived to see the entity standing there. It stepped towards its fortress and placed a hand against the wall. The entire fortress started to shift and twist and turn, creaking and groaning until it shrunk in on itself, becoming a cube. He opened his mouth, impossibly wide, and swallowed the cube whole. Thousands of shinobi stood there watching him, wondering what was going on. What the hell is it? Minato shouted at them to move away. Do not engage. This wasn't something they could handle. This wasn't something they could rush into. The entity turned to face them and held his hand out. As he did so, multiple tiny balls, small and purple, shoot into the sky. Everyone braced themselves, ready to attack, ready to fight. However, nothing happened. Not a single one of them got hurt. It was Minato that stepped up and questioned him. What did you do? We deleted them. Deleted what? Everything. The villages, the people. Humanity as it stands. Stands with you. The words did not make sense. They could not make sense. Minato dreaded to understand what the words actually meant. He went through hand sign, summoning jutsu. He tried to summon Gamabunta. Nothing. Jiraiya's understanding of the words came out, allowing the people around to truly understand what he meant. The villages, Jiraiya said. You're saying that the villages, the people, our loved ones, they're no more. We have destroyed them, he said. The people dropped to their knees. Their children were in those villages. Parents, friends, everyone they left behind. You're lying, many accused. That's impossible. You can't just... With a wave of his hand, his power flooded into them whether they want it or not. And they saw it. Konoha, the greatest of them all. Those tiny small balls spread over the village. And they expanded. Whatever they touch, they simply erase. They swallowed and destroyed. The sand, Kumo, the stone, Kiri. All great villages and then the minor villages. Every single random life that was around. Numbers going up into the hundreds of thousands, maybe a few millions. All of the civilians, all of the innocent, the fire daimyo, the wind daimyo, all of the lords, all of the important dignitaries, all of them, erase. The battlefield was left silent. For a moment as they saw it, as a crying returned, the denial, the rage, mixed with anxiety. It broke them. Minato, the leader of his proud village, stood there shocked. Kushina collapsed sobbing. Menma collapsed down to his knees. All of it, everyone was just... They were gone. The villages were gone. Come to us. The entity voice spread. Those of you that come to us shall find peace, acceptance, love. All that you desire were the ones that you have been missing. Everyone froze as they looked towards him. However, desperation and fear, knowing that if they did not, they would die a horrible death. Some had nothing left to lose. They start to move. No, it's a trap. Don't go near him, Jiraiya tried to tell them, but they didn't listen. Maybe they wanted to die. Maybe he was testing them. Maybe it was just trying to see how far he could push them. He reached out and their bodies opened. Not their mouths or their wounds. They simply opened. As he seemed to mess with their structure on a fundamental level that just wasn't possible for anyone amongst them. Until there was nothing but unraveling. Their screams were not even sound. The ones that remained watch as nothing fell. Their bodies didn't fall, they just stopped where they were. In an instant, hundreds vanished. He then held out his hands once more. His power spread like an infection, like a virus. It reached into them. Minato looked around. Jiraiya? Jiraiya exploded from the inside out. Blood and guts splashing all over him. Minato froze, afraid to look around. Kushina watched as her friends. They exploded. Menma reached out to Ino. Ino, he said, boom, she exploded. Mito turned as she saw Gaara. Boom, he exploded. Silence. Utter silence as every single living being, except for his family, were gone. It wasn't just the people, the summonings, the creatures, the animals, the bees, the plants. All life was gone. All source of chakra, everything was just completely and utterly erased. Minato collapsed down to his knees. as Mito was the one that spoke. Why? Why spare us? Just kill us. Please, she begged. We shall not absorb or kill you. This is retribution for the one that you hurt. He is a part of us, and his pain is also a part of us. Then what? Mito said. This world shall be your prison, a place you can never leave. His power flooded into them, binding them, more than just physically. A place you can never die. What? Minato said, as he could feel it inside. You love one another. Cherish your family. Your celebrations, your time that you spend together was all that you ever desire. For you to abandon the one known as Naruto Uzumaki. I'm giving you that. Live as a family. No, Kushina screamed, please. We're sorry. We're sorry, please, just end it, she begged. He started to walk. Naruto, Mito cried out. Please, I'm sorry, come back. They screamed his name until he suddenly vanished, stepping away, fading. The family was left alone. The last 4 humans on the planet. The last 4 living thing on the planet. Unable to die, unable to escape. Time skip. 2,000 years later. The world never regrew. Plant life, none of it returned. The planet was dead, through and through. The oceans were empty. The streets were broken and collapsed. Civilization had been claimed as the dirt had simply swallowed everything. Once there was a village, there was nothing but broken down pieces of parchments left. Through it all, 4 figures, not needing to eat, sleep, or drink. Nothing they need to survive roamed it. They were no longer humans. 2 millennia of existence had changed them in ways that went beyond just physical. Their minds had shattered and reformed countless times, breaking under the weight of eternity and rebuilding into something else. Minato forgot his name a long time ago. He knew he was once important, that he once led people, but the details are gone. Only flashes remain, and a feeling of loss that it had framed his entire existence. He had tried to die. They all had tried. Stabbing, fire, poison, sealing techniques. They attempted and they tried for a very long time, but nothing held. Their bodies regenerated from any wound. They didn't need food or water, so that would not claim their life. They didn't need to sleep anymore. Their consciousness was eternal and forever. Kushina had gone mad first, maybe after 2 full life, maybe more. Time stopped meaning anything. She attacked the others, trying to kill them if she couldn't kill herself. At one point, they even tried to reproduce and repopulate, not remembering who each other was, not remembering that they were family, forgetting everything, resorting to like animals in the wild. Mito and Menma had done the same, on a driven instinct like animals because they were no longer considered humans. But they could never repopulate. Naruto had saw it fit to make sure they would be alone forever. They've gone through those phases centuries ago. They've tried to kill each other billions of times. The isolation, the loneliness, their language failing. Maybe after the few hundred years, they no longer spoke normally. They no longer communicated. Their memories could not hold forever. Eventually they start to forget. They try to learn and they start to forget. It was an endless cycle. And every time they always forget him. And they always remember. Thus he set it, for them to remember what caused this. And then it started all over again. breaking them, repairing them, breaking them, repairing them, breaking them, repairing them. It was an endless cycle of suffering, unending agony for the rest of eternity. Across space, though, the entity that was once Naruto traveled through the cosmos. He moved across the vacuum of space as he visited other planets. Warriors who were known for absorbing other planets found themselves becoming the prey. He hunted them like they were fuel. When they tried to stand up to him, he slaughtered them all. He burned their homes. He burned their world. He incinerated entire species, wiping away entire genetical codes that went back eons. Without a second thought, all of it was small to him, as he was operating on a much higher scale. However, currently at the present time, he found himself back to the elemental nation. His mind fully intact, his thoughts carefully put together. He materialized above the land of fire. The entity looked around. The place desolate, broken, destroyed, never to be repaired, never to grow, never to advance, stuck in this cycle of utter destruction, and it would never grow. It would never change, it would stay that way for the rest of eternity. By their will, by their mind, by their thoughts. Finding them took mere moments. It located them. There they were, its infinite eyes watching them. The neglect, the childhood part of him that always wanted the revenge, always wanted to see them suffer. It enjoyed it. It enjoyed it very much. Their suffering, alone, forever, in the family that they have always wanted, a family without him, a family that he had begged for countless times. However, the entity considered ending it. The feeling of joy was vanishing completely away. It no longer operated on the same principles. It no longer operated that same anymore. 2,000 years of agonizing suffering, they've lost their mind over and over and over again. The moment he landed, they looked at him. They scurried away like wild animals, discovering something new. They no longer walk on two legs. They were the definition of animals now. They gazed towards him, confused as they hid, grabbing what they could find on the ground to defend themselves. Ready to move, ready to pounce. He proceeded to suck the energy back inside of himself. But he did not strip them of the immortality. What he did was remove the curse that he placed upon the world. Vegetation would grow. Life would go on. He would allow them to explore and change. He wanted to see. He did not care if they repopulated with one another, because now that could happen because he took by the curse of his damnation. He wanted to see how far they would go. He wanted to see if life was bound because of their certain, fundamental laws. He wanted to see if eventually they would have children once again, if another cycle like that will take place. As he made sure that their thoughts of the past would be erased, if modern time was to form once again, they would be reborn as such, without thoughts, without understanding the world. Maybe then he would return to see their progress, to see their growth. He vanished before they could even understood what they were looking at. They've become a test subject to him. Until then, though, it was time that he searched, time that he understood. Before this, the entity was just that, an entity. Power. It wasn't until it was brought into this reality where it started to gain understanding, where it first took over the girl known as Juvia. That is what started it all. And now here it was, with a new purpose, a new reason to understand. No longer did it need to be summoned into other realities. It was a fundamental aspect outside of the corporation of everything. And it tore through realities with its bare hands, stepping through them like they were a veil. It peeked into the realities. It peeked behind the veil to see what was behind it. And there was an infinite number. Worlds, galaxies, universes. The number was infinite and endless. And the entity started to pour its existence into them to see what was ahead, what was behind. And behind everything, what lay in the complete emptiness of it all. What started it? The entity wanted to see it all, to understand it all, to know it all. With that, it flooded through. To return one day. To return soon. Or maybe not. The entity was unknown, unsure about itself. It vanished from the world, from reality itself. And yeah, guys, this is where this comes to an end. I just want to thank each and every one of you for sticking around for this series. Short, yeah, it's but a sweet little ride, guys. And you already knew what is coming up soon for you guys to enjoy. So yeah, check them out and yeah, enjoy, guys. Don't forget to comment your ideas so I can upload them for your enjoyment. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.